How's it going, everyone? It's me again, Sanitary 103, promoting clean eating and a clean and healthy lifestyle. So in today's video, I'm going to go over some tips on how to eat healthy on a budget. Now, I've done a lot of videos over these years, and this is one video that I haven't done in a while. Now, I wanted to have some better visuals and do it at a grocery store, but some of these grocery stores I went to, they don't advise for filming. And it's a little bit awkward sometimes. And last time I went, it was too many people, and then they don't want you to film this and that. So I'll just tell you from the horse's mouth straight from here and put some visuals, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So let's get right into it. So this first piece of advice, it doesn't apply to vegetarians and vegans. So my apologies for that. But I think the majority of people that watch my video are meat eaters, so this tip is going to help. And if you follow my channel, you know that I do promote eating lean protein, especially with every meal. It helps slow down the absorption of carbohydrates, especially if you have a meal that has a lot of carbohydrates, have some little bit of lean protein. It keeps you feeling fuller for a longer period of time, yada, yada, yada. And it's the building blocks of building muscle, which is essential for burning more fat away from the gym and at home, your basal metabolic rate. Anyway, with the lean proteins, they can be quite expensive, and when you're on a budget, that can be very challenging. So the one thing that you can do is when you go to the grocery store, they always have the actual date, right, about when it's gonna expire. Now, some of you might freak out a little bit, but it's not a big deal, trust me. If, for instance, it's January 1st, and you look at all the meats, and the majority of them are saying used by January 8th, January 9th. From January 1 to 9, you have like 8 days. Those ones are probably going to be a little bit more expensive. But if you basically buy your meat towards the end of the cycle, a lot of times the prices are cut in half. So you go to the grocery store on January 1st and you see some meats and it says used by January 2nd. That's what you want to buy. A lot of times they cut the price right in half, very, very cheap, and that is a big, slippers, that is a big money saver right there. Now, you might be saying, I can't buy all this protein, I can't eat it in one day. What do you got to do? Take advantage of our technology, and that is you should just freeze it. It's not a big deal. Is it going to taste as good if it's fresh and you eat it that day? Probably not, but we're not trying to be Gordon Ramsay right here, and we're not trying to, unless you're trying to impress a date or something, put it in the freezer, let it thaw out, the chicken breast, the fish, for at least 24 hours, up to 48 hours, and then cook your food, and you're not even going to know the difference, as long as you make some good recipes. And shameless plug, I got tons of them on my channel, check those out, link in the description. You can still make some good meals. So that is the first essential tip, and the majority of your grocery bill, if you follow my type of eating plan, which is high protein and moderate to lower carb, it's going to be from your proteins. So that's where it's going to be most expensive. So this is where you'll save the most money. Now, another tip that you can do, this is similar to what I just talked about with regards to the protein and the expiration date, is a lot of grocery stores, and you should check, and you can just ask someone when you're there, is when you go to the grocery store, there's usually a small little sub area, and it's usually in the back, and it's kind of like tucked in a corner, and these are just essential other types of foods, just random foods that are still edible. A lot of them are just boxed, they could be, I don't know, I don't really go there that often, but I have seen them, and you could just kind of look around and see, and you may find some good deals. So that's something, the other thing that you can do. Not everything on there is healthy, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, but every once in a while you could find a couple of gems, and you'll be happy. Maybe some boxed Uncle Ben's rice that's been still edible, but they haven't gotten rid of it. You can just buy that, you can pick it up. The other thing, or the last piece of advice that I have, and hopefully I didn't forget, oh yeah, that's what it is you can buy stuff in bulk. Now, typically, for the rule of thumb is, it's kind of like when you buy more, like companies want you to buy bulk So you get a better deal, right? If you buy one individual couple paper towels, it's a certain price, but if you buy like a 10-pack, you get a discount, and you know you're going to use your paper towels, so essentially you save money, right? Same thing applies to your proteins. So what do? You can go to like a Sam's Club or a Costco. Now, some of you might be saying, I understand that you have to pay a membership for these, for Costco, for instance. I don't know how much it is exactly, so that you may be thinking to yourself, well, doesn't that defeat the purpose? This video is about shopping on a budget. Well, what you can do, it is a yearly membership, but what you can do is, if you're lucky and you have a family member, you could just use theirs. They don't care. When you walk in, at least in California, and from my experience, you just show the membership really fast, and they just want your money. They don't care. So they're not really strict about it. It's not like, oh, this is not sanitary, this is so and so. No, I've used my mother-in-law's before, I've used whatever. If you don't have that option, then you and a friend could just split it, and it's like, I don't know, $1,600 a month, or not a month, $1,600 a year. Split it between like 3-4 people. Even if you're broke as a joke, it doesn't matter. You split that up, $25, and then you'll reap the benefits and save from, already you'll recoup those savings by using the Costco membership and getting your meats in bulk. By doing that, like I said, going back to the freezer, you can put it in the freezer. You'll have more bang for your buck, and that's good, So that is pretty much it. If you're shopping on a budget, that is the essentials that you need to do. Oh, and one last little tip, and this is something that you could do, and I just thought about it, is I had some buddies that they love to fish, and if you're a big avid fisher, I'm not, but if you are, take advantage, man. You go out early in the morning, catch some fish. Nothing like fresh fish that you can get, and then put it in the freezer, and you got protein for days. So, and also like potatoes. A lot of times, potatoes is a good carb source to have. I like potatoes, sweet potatoes, russet potatoes. A lot of times those are in big bags, and you can get those in bulk for very cheap. And potatoes, they're filling, they're complex carbohydrate. They're good for pre-workouts, post-workouts, and they're natural, and they're good. So that's my time. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this video was helpful, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.